Okay, welcome to Math 15. We're starting with number sense, and we're going to start with talking about integers. So this is our notes package for number sense 1, adding and subtracting integers. This should feel like a bit of a review, but we want to really make sure we get these skills down. So we're on page 1, adding integers. Now, when we are adding integers, when you are adding two positives, the numbers will always be positive. So if you're dealing with positive numbers, it's just adding and subtracting, or adding just like you always have. Okay, so for example, positive 7 plus positive 4 equals positive 11, where both are positive, therefore the result is positive. If you're adding two negatives, the numbers will always be negative. So where we have negative 7 plus negative 4, here we get a negative 11. So where both are negative, therefore the results are negative. So if both are negative, the result is negative. If both are positive, the result is positive. The nice thing about adding two integers where they have the same sign is you just can add the numerical value and keep the sign. Okay? However, when we have a positive and a negative, the sign of the larger will be the sign of the resulting answer. So, for example, and I'll just highlight that for you, positive 7 plus negative 4 equals positive 3. We have more positives. We have positive 7, and we have a negative 4. Therefore, our answer is going to be positive. Example number 2, we have positive 2 plus negative 5, and the answer is negative because our negative number 5 is greater than our positive number. And basically what we're saying is if we have these numbers and we have two positives and 3 and 5 negatives, if you think of them like that they cancel each other out, right? That two of those negatives or positives will cancel out two of those 5 negatives, and what you have left is your remaining result. Okay? Now some people, with adding, you're basically collecting, and that's what adding is. We're collecting things together. And it's just with integers is that if it's a negative number, it's going to take away from the positives, vice versa. In summary, if the integers have the same sign, add the integers together and use the same sign to find the sum. If they have a different sign, take the sign of the larger number and subtract the integers to find the sum. Okay, so adding is subtracting, I guess. Okay, subtracting integers. Now we're going to look at subtracting integers. When you're subtracting, we're going to use the add the opposite method. So we're going to add the opposite. I always like to actually physically change the sign. So basically, leave the first number, then change the subtract sign. There's a little error. Change the subtract sign in the middle to an addition sign, and then change the sign of the second number to the opposite. So for example, where the second number is positive, we basically just take we change this to a plus and this to a minus. So we're just changing, we like to say add the opposite, right? It's always easier to think in terms of adding than think in terms of subtracting. When the second number is negative, you change it to a positive, change it to a positive. So as we can see, and I'll just erase this, we can see here, this is the same as that, and this is the same as that. And like I said, basically what you're doing is you're taking this, changing it to a positive, and changing that to a negative. Okay? Same thing here. Negative 7 minus a negative 4. We are just basically changing plus a positive. So I always say if you're minus a positive equals plus a negative, and minus a negative equals plus a positive. So those are some little memory tools that you can remember as well. Now, some people like to use a number line, and you can use a number line to think about direction you're going. Number line connects us with things like thermometers and that sort of thing. We look at the first example here, the plus 5, positive 5, and we're minusing positive 2. We just have to think that this is decreasing and this is increasing. Sorry, it's so squinchy. So looking at that, if you are minusing a positive, you're going to be decreasing, right? So this plus 5 minus a plus 2, we'd be going down to 2, and we would get plus 3. Or if we did the second one, where we're at negative 7, and we are minus a negative 4, well, we said it's plus a positive, so we'd be increasing, and we would go to there, okay, which would give us negative 3. So you can use the number line to help you count if that helps. Now, here's the beauty of things. We now have technology where you can put brackets in and they can help you out with all of these things. Use your technology. So let your technology help you do the work. So let's do some examples together, because it's always good to do some examples, and we can try them at home. So here we have a plus, positive 4 plus negative 6, and as we've said, we've got two different signs. So we're going to keep the sign of the larger one. 6 is larger of the 2, so it'll be negative answer. And we're going to subtract those two numbers. So 6 minus 4 is 2. Okay. Here, they're both negative, so we can keep that sign. 5, and we just add the numerical values. So 5 plus 2 is 7. Number 3, signs are different. 9 is the larger of the 2, and it's negative, so we'll keep the negative. And we'll just find the difference between the two. So 9 minus 4 is 5. Here we have, again, the negative 9 is larger, so we keep a negative, and then we subtract. So 9 minus 5 is 4. Okay. Now this would be a good time for you guys to pause the video. Try the next 4 on your own, and then we'll come back and we'll do them. Oh wait, there's subtraction. We should do these together. We can do a couple together, okay? So we have a positive 9 minus a positive 3. Well, that's just 9 minus 3. So we can do that, and that's going to be positive 6. Here, however, we have 8 minus negative 2. Remember, we want to change it to plus a positive. So 8 plus 2 equals plus 10. Okay, now next one, we're going to want to do that as well. So negative 3 minus a positive 4, this is like negative 3 plus a negative 4. Okay, so negative 3 and negative 4 together, they stay negative, and it'll be negative 7. Okay, next one, minus a negative. Those are the ones that are worse, minus a negative. You're like, how do you take away a negative number? Well, you don't. You add a positive. Okay, so plus a positive. Negative 19 plus positive 3. The negative 19 is larger, so we'll keep the negative, and we'll find the difference, which is 16. Okay. All right. Now, these are no harder. We just now have decimals to deal with. Same rules. So 1.3 minus 1.2 becomes plus a positive. So now we're basically just adding 1.3 plus 1.2, so that would be 2.5. Okay. Here, negative 7 minus positive 4, so this becomes plus a negative 4. They're both negative, so it'll be negative 11. Okay, at any point if you want to pause the video, this is my recommendation, pause it and then do it yourself and then come back and see if you did it right. Okay, there's no harm in doing that. Here we have negative 8 minus a negative 6, so this will become plus a positive 6, so it'll be negative 2. The negative 8 is bigger, so we keep the negative sign, and 8 minus 6 is 2. 2.1 minus a negative 1.2, well, that becomes plus a positive, right? So we're just adding these, and we will get 3.3. Okay? And let's look at this. Now, don't get freaked out because there's 3 things here. Just deal with each one separately. So think about what's going on. Here I have minus a negative 9. Well, minus a negative becomes plus a positive. Well, now I'm just adding. Plus 7 plus positive 9 plus positive 6. It's just like adding 7 plus 9 plus 6. So we add those 3 together, we get positive 22. Okay? And here I have negative 17 plus positive 3 minus a positive 1. So let's change this to plus a negative 1. Okay? So I'm going to add our negatives together first. So, and they're all adding, so it doesn't matter which order we do it in. So I just move the order. So here I have negative 18 plus positive 3. The negative is larger, and we just have to find the difference between the two of these. 18 minus 3 is 15. Okay? Now let's look at some problems. Temperature in Edmonton on Christmas Day is minus 21. Due to a Chinook on Boxing Day, it was 30 degrees warmer. What was the temperature? So we started at minus 21, and then we added 30 degrees. So it was plus a positive. So that would be our expression. So looking at this, the positive number is bigger, so my answer is going to be positive. And I just have to find the difference between 30 and 21 degrees. So this would be positive 9 degrees. Okay, so therefore, the new temperature is 9 degrees. Okay, the next day the Chinook was gone and the temperature dropped 15 degrees. What is the new temperature? So we're at plus 9 degrees. And it dropped 15 degrees. So that means it was plus negative 15 degrees. Okay? So the negative is now bigger. So negative, and then we find the difference. 15 minus 9 is 6 degrees. So, and this is Celsius and Celsius. So therefore, the new temp is minus 6, oops, not 60, minus 6 degrees Celsius. Okay, so it's just kind of sorting out your information in terms of what's going on. You could also write this last one just so you know, and it would still be right if you had positive 9 degrees minus 15 degrees. Because it went down, and it would give you the same answer, right? So either way will still give you negative 6, because then you would just be changing it to plus a negative, and you would get to the same place. All right, now it's your turn to practice. Again, if this feels like review, it should. This is not your first kick at the integer can, so to speak. So give it a shot, lots of practice, and then we're going to go over the practice